everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ideally Though.
Ideally, though.
I'm your host Erica, and with me is my hubby, my bestie, my Butterbit Squad.
Yeah. What up?
We are officially in 2024.
Yeah, first episode of the year.
Yeah, we made it to another year.
Yes, thankfully, because last year was fucking crazy. I went through a quick YouTube flashback thing,
recap
like
or
a
something?
recap of the year, and there was so much stuff that happened that I even forgot about that happened, like the train crash in like whatever it was or whatever
Yeah,
that like did all that stuff with the fish. We talk about these things on the pod, but I was like, holy crap,
it's a lot.
so much packed into a year.
Yeah,
You know, craziness ensued. So definitely happy we made it to this year.
yeah, I'm happy to make it because like at the end of the year, like the first of the year, you're like, oh God, who just died?
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
my God.
so
For real.
I'm just blessed to see another year.
Amen.
I'm happy. I feel like it's gonna be like every year. I'm always looking to up the ante.
For sure.
I feel like this year is going to be a big thriving year for me and the pod. So
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do think so too.
Now, right when we hit 2024, we get this bomb dropped on us in the shape of an interview with Shannon Sharp
and Cat Williams. Yes.
I was like, "Whoa, Cat! You everybody catching stray bullets."
Look, that whole interview was insane. When it comes down to telling truth, because like what you really notice about Cat is like he never goes and does any of these interviews. Not really. He don't really promote. He don't do any of that. He just tours.
Yeah.
Because he can do that. Like he's that type of comedian. He's built that stature, right? And then when he finally does go on something, it's usually a big deal.
He unloads
like he did with Wanda and all that shit like a few years back when he roasted her on her radio show.
Wanda Smith or whatever. Yeah, that was like last year.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Like he always has at least like that moment where Cat's on, I'm about to pay attention to it.
Now I had to write down some stuff because there were certain key points about the interview that I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So when he talked about the kings of comedy, ooh, is he wrong to say that like Steve Harvey and people like Cedric the Entertainer are not funny? What do you think?
Okay. I don't think he's wrong because he's a comedian. He's of the business to be able to judge other peers, right? That's one. Two, when you start doing the history later and things, and you start looking at all these other instances where his jokes could have possibly been reformed. I won't say stolen, you know what I mean? But
you don't want to say stolen. I don't know. I think maybe
it could be a possibility. Yeah. I mean, I lean over to stolen. Because it looked like it, but at the end of the day, was he wrong for saying it? Not at all, because he is one of those people who can absolutely judge who's funny and who's not.
One thing I like about Cat Williams is that you can, for the most part, fact check him too.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So
that's very true.
You can look at his stand up on Comic View with that joke versus Cedric on the
Kings of Comedy
and be like, ooh, that was very similar.
Yeah. It was incredibly similar.
With Cat Williams saying he did it in '98 and then the Kings of Comedy come out in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not unheard of that people go to comedy clubs, they still joke.
So what's interesting is I ended up watching Gary Owen, the white boy, right? He part of the crew. But but I was watching his podcast because he got brought up in the conversation, right? And his basic understanding was like I hadn't sold my soul, so that's why I haven't crossed over to that other side, and he gets it. But he also said that he's seen Cat in the Bay in like '97 doing that joke.
Yeah, see,
you know what I'm saying?
It kind of adds up.
All these things add up, and that gives more credence to like Cat doing the actual interview or appearance because he doesn't do these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I believe that these people were jealous of him. I see jealousy in comedy all the time because I watch a bunch of comedians in general, and those fallouts happen frequently.
I think what happens is that you're a big name and you go kind of like bring it on, right? Like, oh, this person's a no-name person. I feel they joke. Who's going to care? Who's going to know?
Yeah.
But we're living in an age where we are going to hold you accountable and there's video.
Yeah, now we can recoup
side by side things and be like, oh, really, nigga? Like, you really going to do that?
We go over there and do our history now.
But for a lot of comedians who came up a long time ago, they're like, this is not new. People still jokes all the time.
All the time.
Even like Mark Curry from like Hang with Mr. Cooper, he had an interview that resurfaced in 2019 where he was saying that Steve Harvey stole his jokes and things related to like hanging with Mr. Cooper that you would see in like a Steve Harvey show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Cat Williams talks about that
and Cat
too.
Williams talks about that too. You're right.
So
It's so weird to see how in the you would think like in the field you're in there's a bit of camaraderie, you know what I mean?
You would think brotherhood, sisterhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, within.
But the amount of backstabbing because this person may just be better at writing or this one just is better and quicker at times than wit. You know what I mean? Could just throw you off and go, I'm gonna steal this nigga's joke and then go make a career off of it.
I think everybody can make their own judgment.
True.
You know, would you rather see a Cat Williams stand up special, or would you rather see a Steve Harvey or a Cedric the Entertainer?
And that truth be told, I would rather see a Cat Williams one.
And have you seen a Steve Harvey hour special?
The only thing I can genuinely think of is Kings of Comedy.
So
but it wasn't even. But he was the one who was the host.
Yeah, he was like his.
It wasn't even a set. You know what I mean?
He was like the DJ or whatever they call it.
Yeah. The MC.
So MC.
Yeah.
So you've never seen a Cedric the Entertainer like hourly special?
I have.
Do you think Cat Williams is funnier than Cedric? Okay.
I do. Yeah. I do think I think Cedric is clever.
Yeah.
And I think he is genuinely just an entertainer. So he isn't. I don't think he is necessarily a full stand-up comedian either. I consider him an entertainer, though.
But what does he do when you think about entertainment? Is he singing, dancing? He's not doing all that.
He has done that on stage in the past. He hasn't done it, do it anymore. I don't think he's done it on stage in the past. That was his quip to get like on the comedy route. But Cat Williams is totally funnier than him.
Yeah,
he is way more. I think Cat Williams is more cerebral, and I like cerebral comedy.
It is hard to be a comedian.
Yes, very.
It's hard. So when you're having to write your own material and having to try it out at these clubs, and you may get booed.
Yeah.
And then you finally find your niche, and then you find out somebody steal it. I'm gonna be a little pissed about it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean, I hope they can work it out because I'm not gonna lie, I love Cedric. I love Steve Harvey. I don't think Steve Harvey is funny. He's more like country.
I don't think he's funny at
all
either.
Person funny with certain things.
Yeah.
Again, I've never seen him.
He got less funny the older and cleaner he got.
Yeah, and when he took the high top off, it was like you ain't
like a Lego piece.
It was like that's not funny. Okay, so on the interview, he also talked about the whole Ricky Smiley thing. Right. And how Ricky Smiley says that he was supposed to be Money Mike. Can we believe that was really a thing?
Absolutely not. You know why? Because his comedy was always in a clean kind of way. Church-rooted kind of like making fun of, I mean, and
older ladies.
It was older ladies and it was a different time, mentally handicapped individuals and things like that. So I don't think he would be the type to play Money Mike at all.
Did not go.
Not at all.
And I was like, okay, I can see that. Like, I can see where Cat's coming from. I was like you said, no one's gonna give you a role and then say, let's switch. Yeah. That just doesn't happen.
No.
So, and could you see Ricky Smiley being Money Mike? It just would not. It just doesn't. Never,
it doesn't even fit in my head like that. Yeah. You know? I'm interested in knowing how you feel about him making that contractual statement that in the next movie that he did with Ricky Smiley had to be in the dress. And he was in the dress in First Sunday.
I said, listen, this is one of two things. You just saying that because it would match with what happened on First Sunday, or that's a legit thing. But First Sunday wasn't your movie though. Like right. I don't think that Cat Williams had the call to be like, we can put Ricky Smiley in a dress because you wasn't even a main character on the damn.
No. You're right, but who knows at this point?
At that one, I was like,
it's a good shot.
Yeah,
either way it goes, it's still a good shot.
It matches, but I don't know if I believe that. I don't think, I would think no grown man, no matter how much they're getting, feel like they're getting paid. And even then, I don't think First Sunday they was paying crazy much. If somebody told me, well, you can be on this, but Cat Williams, who's almost level with your character, says that you can't really play your character unless you're in the dress, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Unless it was coming from like Ice Cube.
Yeah. Or he talked to Ice Cube. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think, but like how much stake do you have in that,
I like to imagine that did happen though. It's just me and Schadenfreude. It makes me funny. It's funny to me and makes me warm inside.
I was just like, what? Another thing I liked is that he is a humanitarian.
Yeah.
So I've already knew things like the lady who played in Dale on like the Parkers and Moesha, when she was going through her cancer, they say that he actually brought her into his house and he was taking care of her before she died.
Yeah.
They don't talk about that in the interview, but
Yeah.
that's just some things people need to know about Cat Williams versus him always getting like arrested or getting beat up by 12-year-olds. Like you get to know that he is a humanitarian. Also on the interview, Shannon Sharp said, "Hey, you paid for Melba Moore's like a star on the Walk of Fame."
Yeah.
And he made a great point that should she not get her flowers just because she can't pay for them?
Yeah.
You know, so and I think I think we talked about this on previous episode that it costs like $10,000 to
Yeah.
get your star.
It's $10,000.
So I mean, you can get nominated for it, but you still your stuff has to get come out of pocket.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of fucked up.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And that should ultimately be changed. But I definitely see the brightness that Kat brings to the comedy world, because on even Gary Owen's pod, I watched on a few other ones who have spoken on other comedy ones have spoken on this, small ones, but they've basically said that on many occasions they've witnessed Kat give a dude 5-10 minutes, pay him out like $1,000.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You know, on many occasions, that's just what he does. In fact, he said something about on the interview in particular was like, if you pay me to come to your little podunk town, I might, and pay me $100,000. I'm gonna take $10,000 of that and go down to your homeless district and give it to those people.
Yeah, and because it's not for the gram.
Yeah, and it's not for the gram. And he said, because who am I to take this money away from these people when you paid me to come here?
Right.
And it's like that type of stuff. I see valiance in. You know what I mean?
I'm hoping that because I feel like he got blackballed.
For sure, absolutely.
So people aren't going to want to listen to him, or people think that people are not going to listen to him.
But I think that's why. I think his courage and his voice and him standing his ground always and being true to himself is what keeps him blackballed in those areas. But that's still the reason why he's as successful as he is.
I think that this interview is going to skyrocket. And he's not going to be on that list no more. I feel like people like Steve Harvey, unfortunately, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, they know that we can blackball you, and you can say whatever, and people are not going to believe you.
It's a different world now. You don't have you have all the reach in the world, but still, and yet you don't, because I can choose to not look at yours, and I can see the other's opinions pretty quickly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Social media and the internet is a gracious thing. It's also the worst invention we've ever made ever.
Yeah,
but like you can blackball somebody, but they could still gather an audience.
Yeah, so I'm not really worried too much about Cat Williams. I feel like he did fall off for a minute, and it was a whole bunch of like legal stuff. But I think honestly, this interview we're gonna probably see more of him, and I think his peers are gonna have to show some goddamn respect
for sure.
Put some
because he demanded it. Name. That nigga demanded it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some respect on his name
for sure.
I even saw Columbus Short said something about his encounter with Cedric the Entertainer. It wasn't a good one, so he can believe that what Cat Williams is saying is true.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah. All right. One of the last housekeeping things I want to talk about is this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing and these files coming out in the last couple of days. Now, one thing I want people to do is don't just read the headlines of things. Actually take your time and read some documents, because it's a lot of clickbait with just bringing out names like, oh, Michael Jackson. Oh, shit. Michael Jackson is into some freaky shit. Oh, shit. People are saying Whoopi Goldberg was on some false, fake files. And she even said something on her TV show a couple days ago. Like, I think people need to see, because sometimes some of the, when they were interviewing like one of the underage girls, it's just names getting brought up, not a list of them, they're not on this list of nastiness.
Yeah, I have my own thoughts about it, because I've watched enough of the Epstein documentaries to know that he was just a giant con man that could get into rooms. Yeah. So when you're an individual that can get into rooms and be around people, there's going to be photos, and you're going to be around them, and if you gather enough information or friendly enough, because there are those blackmail types and those actual friendly types.
Yeah.
If you get around and have enough of that, then you can have people come to your shitty little island and all that bullshit or whatever. But like, you're still around. You're still like around philanthropists and entrepreneurs and actors, and just because of who you are, and you've conned your way into the room. It's an interesting thing to see these people come up on the list, but also knowing that like they also didn't have anything to do with it. It's
Yeah.
also, it's human. We're in rooms with people all the
All
fucking
the
time.
time. You know, you have old pictures of people with Donald Trump because at the time that was like the status. You wanted to be Donald Trump because it equated with money.
Yeah.
You know, so now people are like, oh, when you see old pictures, sometimes people feel like they have to explain themselves. Like, oh, hold on, we was just taking a picture. We was at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did see some names that did kind of have some red flags, like Prince Andrew. Um, it was stated in some documents that he had underage sex with like a girl 3 separate times.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, and then like something about Stephen Hawkins, and I was like, okay, y'all being real nasty at this point.
But I've also seen that too.
Yeah,
I've seen that too. They were like he would go to conferences with a bunch of the scientists and then like pay for them to like come out to his yacht, and then like they would
do
like
what?
have like actual meetings and talk about sciencey shit, and then they would leave. He would treat them, and they like a lot of the people in the doc. No, a lot of the people in the documentaries that I were watching was like, no, it's interesting. He had a weird air about him.
Yeah.
But like in certain instances, it was really business.
Yeah, I think if we got an actual straight list,
oh, that's just gonna get redacted. Like, we ain't gonna see a lot more.
You want kind of like a list that goes down the road, like the nastiest to the non-nastiest.
There was a Republican man, a congressman or statesman, somebody that said that there might be some redactions on that actual list because it could implicate a lot of people in Congress type shit.
Well, so we need to see it. Shoot,
man, put the names out, get them out of here, put them underneath the jail.
So that's never gonna happen.
No, it never will.
They're always protecting their own, so that's not gonna happen.
1000%.
The files that the press is reading is just like it's
the
only
basic
a little
shit.
piece.
It's cookie cutter shit. Yeah, it's cookie cutter.
It's a lot of information, but I want an actual list.
Yeah. That would be nice, but that shit will get redacted. We ain't gonna see it.
All right. Well, do you want to tell the baby girls what we're going to be talking about today?
So you wanted to discuss a few predictions and a few goals that we have for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because mine are kind of bleak.
You want to start the year off right.
If we are starting the year off right, then great, but I do have some bleakness that I think might happen.
I always say like find reachable goals.
Yeah.
And if you can, do kind of like a vision board of what you want, because when you see it, you sometimes feel like you can achieve it versus just staying in your head. Also, might not tell everybody about what you want to do because you get people who intentionally and unintentionally are gonna kind of feel like or stifle your dream a little bit.
That's
your
true.
Goals.
Yeah, I mean, support is pretty paramount in a lot of that growth situation stuff. I mean, goals can be attainable easily depending on how you go about it. I bet on myself a lot.
I think
so. It's easy for me.
I think people who don't, think about attainable goals or they don't have any goals for themselves, when you tell that person, they're like, that's not going to happen because they know it can't happen for themselves.
Or they think they can't happen for themselves. I don't think they know it can't happen for yourself.
Yeah, so they're going to tell you, like, that's not something you can reach.
Yeah, but
because they can't do it.
Those people, that screams insecurity to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That screams insecurity to me because at the end of the day, if you're not willing to bet on yourself, how do you move forward on anything? You have to want to do better and want to grow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the normal kind of goal that I would have for the year, but that's extends into life kind of deal.
Yeah.
So that's like a 0. If I had to put like 0, 1, 2, and then 3, it would be 0. I'm gonna definitely continue to try to bet on myself and do bigger and better things, especially because as I've gotten older and I've learned myself even more, I like me more and more. You know what I mean? So I do want better and bigger just for myself alone, because that type of era around me and having that aura around me and that energy around me, I think it seeps into other aspects and people in my life too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I don't like to do resolutions because it's more like I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year. It's more like goals I put in my phone for the year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them I achieve, and some I'm like, oh, well, this one's a little bit bigger that can go into the next year. I try not to do anything too big. I learned that when I go too far out, like, I want to do something in a year or 3 years, it just doesn't happen. So I have to start off small. Be like, okay, in the next, 2 months, 3 months, I want this to happen. And it's very small things that end up turning into big things. Start small and then work your way up.
That's interesting. I like to look at the biggest picture and then break it apart piece
Yeah,
by
that's
piece.
good. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one of the first things I want to do, and again, I don't share my big goals with people, so y'all only gonna get like surface level ass goals. Sorry, but like one of my goals, and it's cute, but I've always wanted to do it. But now that I'm kind of traveling and doing things, I wanted to go to Comic Con.
Oh
That's
yeah,
one of my first goals. Like I want to
you did.
go. I'm hoping to, I know the San Diego one is pretty fun and
That's the
good because they
big
have like,
one.
yeah, the big one. So
Yeah.
they have The Walking Dead and they have other, I don't know,
Movies
like
and
AMC's
comics and
and yeah.
it's everything. It's I've been to Vegas Comic Con, so that's a
Okay.
tinier one, but and I think that was at the like Riviera Hotel when it was like a thing or whatever the fuck. But like it's panels for people and you
Okay.
get to see different actors. They have vendors there with their like own comic books, so it'd be like their own like indie comic book vendors
Oh,
or
that's cool.
local like people or
Hmm.
board games. It's pretty dope, nerdy as fuck, and it smells terrible because
Really?
people fucking don't shower, bro.
Hold on, these are guys that's been in their room for hours and
It's
days.
people because the nerdy chicks smell just as bad.
Well, I'm not one of them, so I'm gonna be coming in real cute.
Yeah, you
But
probably turn some heads, so that's cool.
I mean, I think why I chose Comic Con is because it's something that is reachable, but I always put on the back burner. So it's like, no, this year I want to see about going to even a small Comic Con.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I like
How
it.
many Comic Cons have you been to?
One.
One.
And it was that one Vegas one a long time ago.
I have a friend who will always go out here.
Yeah.
He said there was a lot, so I was
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I'll start from one here, and then I can work my way to ones in different states.
The top one you wanted to go to is San Diego. That's the one that's like
Yeah, I want to meet people. I
the
want to take
big
pictures.
boy. That's the one where everybody's there. There's lines galore and
Yeah.
No space in the hotel rooms because everybody's booking it. That type of shit.
Yeah.
That one is like the top tier one you want to go to. So yeah, starting out smaller and
Yeah.
seeing what's around you for sure. That's a cool goal.
What is one of your goals?
Okay. This is more or less a idea or more or less something that I want to find my passion for again, and I want to do more graphic design stuff.
Okay, look at you.
Actually, I used to be really good. I mean, getting published in like the Las Vegas Weekly and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and I used to find it was very cathartic for me.
Mhm.
I put a lot of just anger and stress and a lot of stuff in my artwork. And a goal of mine, especially with the podcast here,
Yeah.
I'm able to, give you ideas and shoot you things and make things for you that are pretty cool and different. And I feel like uh, having that, it's been scratching my itch lately, but
Yeah.
now I'm noticing I have an itch. You know what I'm saying?
Now
And
it's time to scratch it.
Now it's time to scratch it. So I think I want to get back into that, and I think that portion is going to help with another portion of my goals.
Okay.
We talked about it.
And you're very good at like learning something, and then if you haven't done it in a while, you like self-teach yourself again.
Yeah,
on YouTube
and it's
stuff.
quick too.
Yeah, so you're really good at that. So
thank you.
I think another goal of mine for this year is going out the country. So I already have that already planned. But when you think about sometimes our parents, our grandparents who just stayed in the same city,
Yeah.
same state, and they never thought outside of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of big for them to see us as millennials kind of starting to, venture out and stuff like that. So this year will be my first trip out the country, and it's just up from there. Like I'm really ready to get white girl wasted and show my ass. So I'm excited about going out the country. I got my passport. So I mean, I'm starting off small, and then I'm throughout the next couple years just I want to go to a different country every year. So that's my goal. Every year going to a different country because now we're vacationing 3 times a year. So
that's
it's like
nice. That's nice.
Country.
Okay. Well, that's a goal of mine, and it's going to be met. So also because of work in general, I work with Europeans, so I'm going out of the country.
Yeah, you're going to be going.
That is a goal, and it was in anyway, but like it's going to happen. We have like Vienna and Costa Rica and Poland in mind.
Man,
so
you're lucky.
I'm incredibly excited to go. And since you made me a passport, bro, last year, thanks, baby. I'm able to go, and this is going to be a good time. I'm excited for that. So that was honestly one of my goals.
Is that one of your goals?
That was
too?
one of my goals. So
Okay.
it's weird that you copied me. I'm gonna say that.
I ain't got a vision. I ain't copy you. I had this on my vision board for 2 years straight.
Copied me. Yeah, that's my goal. What's yours next?
Um, the next one is to be just continue to be more financially stable and keep working towards financial freedom.
Ah, okay.
That's always going to be my continuous goal. It's probably never going to leave my list. But when
That's
you
fair.
but when you can get to a point like Rochelle off of Everybody Hates Chris, where you are, I don't need this job. My husband got two jobs. Like that is a great feeling to know that you really don't need a motherfucking job and you don't need to do shit for these people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but just be on your podcast and look cute. Like that is the best feeling ever, and still get your coin. And still get your coin. Best feeling ever. So it's just continually working towards financial freedom. That's
I respect that.
that's my goal.
I respect that a lot. My final goal, and it kind of ties into the graphic design thing, is I want to finish up or at least get close to finished with a project that I've been working on with
Okay.
some of my best friends. Little indie work thing that we've been working on for a number of years. I give a major shout out to Bar and Oni in particular because those guys there are constantly doing a lot of our like pre-production stuff
Okay.
for a lot of the stuff that we've been working on. The graphic design stuff has given me the itch to start doing more things for said project
Okay.
in particular. That it's it's something that I want to do. I want to get as close as possible to finish this year, so that if I do finish this year or we do finish this year, that we can ultimately release, or the top of the year is going to open up to just a host of brand new opportunities with this project.
I'm
I
gonna
feel
hold
like.
y'all to it, because
Uh,
y'all main thing is always, well, we busy, we busy. I don't want to hear that.
we are busy. We're all busy men
We
in
all
a
everybody busy.
in a higher tax bracket than most, and
Everybody busy.
and when you get in higher tax brackets, people need your time more
But you
often.
know what? You have to make time for your own thing.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right, and that's why that's part of the actual goal itself.
Mhm.
It's really focusing in and getting more of that portion of the project done, especially what my bros need of me
Mhm.
to make sure that we're accountable and moving forward on that because uh, we are talented in our own right and we have the capabilities that like if you put us together, it feels like the Avengers, no lie, because of all the like
Which
the
one? You Black
coupled
Panther?
knowledge. I guess I would be the darkest one in them, motherfucker. Yeah.
So y'all, working together, y'all just a powerhouse.
Yeah, we're a powerhouse. I mean, when we get together, it's all energy, and we can like really do shit. And so, um, that goal, having that set in mind and having that energy behind me, is going to make sure that that goal is going to be met in my eyes. In all
Okay.
honesty, yeah, yeah,
I think my last goal, and this is going to be a thing ever since I started my pod, is just continuing to get more listeners,
yeah,
continuing to just do better on YouTube,
yeah.
um, just working on just my
Brand
craft and
and
brand
yeah,
with ideally though.
yeah, ideally, though.
So that's what my goal is for my last goal is just to keep it's just up with
Okay.
this podcast.
All right. Well, now, madam, I want to know at least a few predictions for the year.
I actually wrote down some predictions.
Okay.
Just so I didn't forget. Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, so some predictions for this year, and this is all like kind of just like for the culture,
Mm.
pop culture thing, is Pedro Pascal is going to get an Emmy this year.
Oh, okay.
So the 75th Emmy Awards comes out on January 15th.
Ah, okay.
There's like 24 nominations for The Last of Us.
Oh.
I think that he's gonna at least get one.
With the fucking odds, yes.
Yeah, he's gonna get one. It is hosted by Anthony Anderson, so I think that's gonna be fun and funny.
Well, I hope so.
But I say Pedro Pascal is gonna at least get one Emmy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I yeah, more on the bleaker side. I love
No, it's
how
fine. Like,
I love how yours is positive.
You
but
do
we go-
tech and stuff. Sometimes I do kind of like pop
I'm
culture.
more in the tech realm, and I think we're gonna have a lot more tech jobs lost if you don't add AI to some whatever you're using or whatever
Yeah.
you're working
It's kind
with.
of like a standard now.
It's becoming that.
Yeah.
Which thank you for talking about my next prediction. But anyway, my that prediction is we're gonna see a huge amount of layoffs, more so in the tech realm. We saw a lot last year with a bunch of different companies, laying off of more people. But I predict that there's going to be a few more smaller tech company layoffs, bigger gaming company layoffs because of just projects not being of the right quality in things, and people pulling out a lot of money now.
You think like the quality in games have like tanked?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We had a good gaming year last year. There were some pretty good titles, but the quality was still very not
Mm,
the greatest. Those the diamonds definitely stood out. You didn't have to dig for them. You know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, I definitely feel like the tech realm in one way, shape, or form is going to have a lot of people losing their jobs, and my second prediction is the reason why. But
Okay. My next prediction is that Haley Bailey or
mm,
Holly Bailey
mm,
and DDG, that
mm.
rapper, I think they're gonna get engaged this year.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know why she's still hiding it, but we can obviously tell that you're pregnant.
Uh.
And the reason why, because you only show your breasts up now. Your dresses are all puffy.
Yeah.
I know she even talked about, why are you guys saying that, you could tell I'm pregnant because of my nose. Because with black women, especially, our noses spray when we get pregnant. We ain't stupid. I wish she would just come out and say that you're pregnant, and we can all be like, girl, we knew, like, you shouldn't have, like,
Right.
waited so long. But they've been together for like 2 years. But I have a feeling this year, on her birthday, Valentine's Day, something, if he hasn't already in secret, I think that they're going to get engaged.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
Next
your next
prediction,
one?
just as bleak. Oh, honesty. I think that those layoffs are going to be attributed to AI becoming a tech standard now. I think
Oh, yeah.
most applications, if not all, in the next year to 5 are going to have AI within them, and it's going to become household at that point. So we're in the beginning or nascency of AI becoming household product, valuable. Your refrigerator in 5 years is going to talk to you about the recipe you're making and
Yeah.
respond back, because of AI. And we're on our way there, and that's why I'm saying that those layoffs are going to be a thing. Now, I think it sounds cool to have it becomes a partial standard, but I think that the other edge of that sword is we're not training these people to like know how to use these tools. We're just getting rid of them, and that's
Yeah.
not fair. If anything, we should give these people chances to use these tools, to learn these tools, to even possibly improve these tools.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, AI is going to become an absolute technical standard, and we're going to start seeing all that shit in TVs and microwaves and fridges and all that other shit in 1 to 5 years for sure.
It can always turn in, and this has happened. I mean, I think that these prediction in movies show, like, I am, what was it, a robot, or
I Am Robot or Minority Report and
yeah,
all these
like,
things. Yeah,
I saw, I think this was in Australia.
yeah,
Don't quote me, but there was this like robot that like fucked this man up,
yeah.
and I
The
was like,
dog.
God damn,
Yeah, yeah.
like. And then this one lady said that her Alexa was calling, like, always saying stuff to her husband, like always only talking to the husband. I was like, we got to be careful with,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, do I want to, we need to be in 2024. If you don't, and you're like one of them people who are like, oh, I'm not going to get a bank account. Oh, no, I'm always going to have me a church phone. You're not going to survive
I'm not
long.
going to survive long at all.
But I do think there's limits to certain technology.
There should be.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, that goes. Damn, you're
What's
good.
your third one?
You're good.
Give me the last one.
All right. Well, my third one is that we're going to be forming a Congress regulation committee on AI this year.
Oh my God, I was thinking about that last year.
I feel like it's become such a huge thing and proponent in most technological ways, and it's made so much traction and caused so much information that with this election coming up this year, they're going to start heavy on trying to regulate how AI is used, worked, what can be framed, what cannot
That's
be.
how they're going to push the votes.
Absolutely. It's an election year, and we have a tool that can change the world with misinformation alone. You don't think somebody out there is going to start making talks yesterday about regulating some shit before elections come up in November? Mm-hmm. For sure. That's definitely, that's my last prediction. I told you we're all kind of bleak.
But these are good ones, so we can always go back at the end of the year and be like, did those predictions actually come true?
True.
I'm a psychic.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
My last prediction, and this one is just based off of just what happened in the last week. I think Cat Williams' stand-up special on Netflix is gonna do numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take him out of the shadows of being blackballed.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
He's supposed to film it in May.
Ooh.
So hopefully we'll get it by the end of the summer or something like that.
Yeah,
Very close. Yeah. I think Spike Lee was supposed to direct it or something like that.
Heat.
But I think the interview is just going to propel him to do numbers with his comedy specials. I think he's going to do multiple comedy specials.
Probably.
And they're going to do numbers. And then, you know, having numbers speak for themselves. So then we're going to come back into an age of good comedy.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not been good.
Speaking of, notice how nobody's talking about Dave Chappelle's latest one lately?
I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I was just about to say something about Dave Chappelle. I think that he's shown improved with his stand-ups last year. I think Monique has. I think Marlon Wayans has done some good stand-up. But I think once Cat Williams does it, it's going to actually have a bar. You know, we're going to have to hold comedians to a certain level.
We'll see.
You know, the standard is going to be up there when he does this.
We shall see.
So I think he's not going to be blackballed anymore, and people are going to have to show him proof. Like, numbers don't lie.
Fair enough.
So, do you have any last words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Actually, one quick comment on your prediction. Did you see the numbers on the podcast yet? On Shannon Sharp's for that?
I think I saw. I'm not sure, 2 million.
It's almost
or something.
3 point like something.
Million?
Yeah.
I thought I saw 2 at some point.
Great. It was 2.5 yesterday.
2 days ago, I watched it for 2.5 hours, and I said, "This is so good."
The craziness is how many eyes are coming to it. You're absolutely right in your prediction, and we are going to toast on that end. That's all I got for you, actually.
All right, you guys. Well, remember, we drop our new episodes every Friday, audio-wise, on all streaming platforms. And you can catch us on YouTube at Ideally Though Pod on Sundays. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, rewatch some videos, re-listen to
catch them shorts, bro.
Yeah, catch the shorts. We're starting to put shorts out. And we will catch you guys next week. Bye.